Folks, we have covered the Crown Act on many occasions. Of course, it first passed in California. It moved to other states as well. Then there was the effort to get it passed on the federal level. Well, it didn't. Why? Because Republicans are standing in the way of the Crown Act from being passed. On Monday, the goal was to fast track. It required a 2/3 vote. And it's called, first of all, creating a respectful and open world for natural hair. Okay, Crown Act. And again, it needed to get 2/3 vote to move the bill forward despite gaining the simple majority. Now, the vote was 235 to 188. No Republicans supported it. The two black Republicans in the House, Burgess Owens of Utah, as well as Byron Donald, they both voted against it. And so I tweeted at both of them. And this is what Owens had to say as to why he does not support the Crown Act. Pull it up, please. He tweeted me back, because the black employer who took the risk and built their business has the right to hire employees based on their own dress code, not the employee and their hairstyle wishes. Racism is thinking black people need a Crown Act because only white people are business owners. Well, that's kind of stupid. We, of course, invited Congressman Owens on the show. Have not heard from him. We did talk to the office of Florida Congressman Donald. They said there were votes today. He was busy, but he may try to come on next week. Welcome to have both of them on the show. But joining us right now is Congresswoman Coleman, and she's made it perfectly clear that she's going to continue. Congresswoman, glad to have you back on the show. Here's what I find to be interesting. First of all, when you see that comment from Owens, a brother, by saying and trying to make it sound like only white people are business owners, no, that's not the whole point of it. I remember a few years ago, there was a black woman who was a psychologist, applied for a job at the VA in Virginia, impeccable credentials. When she left the room, one of the men who interviewed her commented on her hairstyle. She didn't get the job. She ends up suing them. This is actually on the EEOC website. She ends up suing them, wins. They had to use taxpayer money to pay her back wages, and then she still got hired. That's what the Crown Act is there for, to keep folks from saying, no, I'm not gonna hire you because I don't like your cornrows or your braids or your afro or your natural hair.
Yeah, not only that, it's also to protect our students who get over-disciplined in school because they're wearing hairstyles that are considered unapproved because they simply happen to be natural hair styles, bantu knots, locks, braids, whatever. It's unfortunate that we have to go here, but we do, because any vestige of discrimination has to be eradicated. And so we did things through 64 and 65 and on in terms of civil rights issues. And this happens to be the vestige of one where white folks feel that you can make certain decisions about whether or not someone's worth hiring, whether or not someone should be able to get a house, rent an apartment, whether that person can enjoy a public accommodations or have access to a federally funded program simply because of the way that he or she is wearing their hair. And that hair is related to their interpretation, rightfully so, that this has an Afrocentric appeal. So what? It has nothing to do with whether or not a person is ready, willing, and able to do a job, purchase an apartment, purchase a house, or do whatever else anyone else has to do. And it really ought not be something that we have to fritter about so much. It passed unanimously in the last Congress in the House of Representatives. It just seems that we're having a devolution of morals and core values in on the opposite side of the aisle in the House of Representatives right now. And it's shameful. It's unnecessary.
Now you said it passed unanimously. So all of a sudden now you have 180 Republicans who are opposing it. What changed?
I don't know. I think they're still angry about the big lie. And they certainly can't quite figure out what a positive response is to almost anything. So that's who they are right now. They're disruptive and they're hateful, and they're racist and a whole bunch of other things that are not serving their constituents well in the House of Representatives. There were 15 Republicans that did support this legislation the other day.
See, this is, and the thing that again, when I look at that comment by Owens, when I listened, there were some Republicans who said, "Oh, this is the bad hair bill." I mean, the mocking, if you will, as if this is really no big deal. When we've done the stories of the brother who was the wrestler, where the referee said, "Oh, if he doesn't cut his hair, he's gonna be disqualified." The brother down in Wichita Falls, Texas, same thing, where they said, "Oh, he has to cut his locks," even though it actually didn't. It met the length requirement. I mean, these are the things that we're seeing where, oh no, you can't graduate unless you change your hair. It literally is the policing of black people.
Yeah, it's the racism that's so deep that you find anything that remotely reminds you of something that looks different from you. It should be treated in a substandard way. So the youngster whose hair had to be cut in front of a whole gymnasium before he did his wrestling match, I am so proud of him, because then he went on and he won that match. We don't understand the implications of discrimination and racism as it relates to the natural hair wearing. We don't really understand, or they don't understand, what it's like for a woman to have to figure out how to cover up her hair before she shows up to work so that she looks more European and therefore more acceptable. We don't even know. I had a very interesting conversation with members of SAG, and they told me about the experiences that they had to go through just trying to find someone on a set, whether it's Canada or the United States, who could do their hair, who would do their hair, who could do it safely, who would have the products that were necessary. And in instances, they were required to go and purchase wigs to cover their hair, or they were required to go find someone who could do their hair and pay for it. That has economic implications to those individuals in that industry as well. And your hair should not have any economic negative implications in your right to work, or where you live, or whether or not you will go into a public accommodations.
That is the case. Now, explain to people, a couple more questions. Explain to them why it required a 2/3 vote, and then what is next.
It was going to hopefully be a part of a larger package, and it was going to go straight through without going through the Rules Committee. In order to do that, to come directly to the floor from the committee, from the jurisdiction committee, it needed to get a 2/3 vote. But this is what's going to happen. It'll now go through the Rules Committee. We are in the majority, so we're in the majority of the agenda of the Rules Committee. It'll then come back to the floor for a vote, and it will simply need a majority, and it will get it.
Back to that Roland Martin unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice
to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am rolling with Roland all the way.
Honored to be on a show that you own. A Black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Like, wow, Roland was amazing on there.
Stay Black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared. You dig?